Muffin is going to do Sara Bash. He is going to use Bashes.
A minute away from his PB with everything goes. Wow! Oh my god! Is that faster?
Is that faster? Big jerk sometimes. He doesn't want to play nice. Oh my good lord!
What a save!
Oh!
He makes it flat.
Oh my god! Nice!
Hello, Speed Gaming fans. Welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition All Skills Tournament 2019. We have for you tonight a round of 32 best-of-1 match between 13th seed Hitachihex and Monkley6, our 20th seed. With me tonight to cast is Lurking Assassin. Lurking, how you doing?
Yo, how's it going, Hal? Doing it alright. Very excited for this match. How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. We've had a lot of pretty far apart seeded matches recently, and 13 versus 20 is a little bit closer, so I'm hoping we'll see a little bit tighter of a race than we have in the past.
Yeah, hopefully. Although it is seed 13 versus 20, Hitachihex is actually one of the best runners that we have in this tournament, at least when it comes to like PB-wise, so you could expect some really good times from both Monkley and Hitachi, and I guess you could start telling us a little bit about them.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you can see here on the left, we have some basic stats on Hitachi. His PB is a 29.07, so he's right up there in our best runners. But his qualifying time was a 31.28, which is actually a fair bit slower than Monkley's PB. So it's very much within the realm of possibility to see Monkley take this.
Yeah, and historically, Monkley has been known for taking down the giants in the past tournaments, so, you know, anything could happen.
Yeah, and we will see a little bit of differences in routing between the two. Hitachihex will be skipping the Glade's Health Cell. Monkley will be doing a Terror Break instead of a Crazy Juggle. But
Yeah.
All of that's going to be quite a bit later.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to get into the differences between the routes, because they're not a major differences except for one area. So overall, they'll still be doing a very similar route, except for like Sara Pass will be different. And I guess, as we can see here in the standings, whoever wins this matchup between Hitachi and Monkley will end up fighting Shed in the round of 16.
Oh, that'll be a good one too. Shed is another of Ori's very strong runners.
Yeah,
so that'll be one to tune into as well.
Yeah, these two are not going to have a break. Like, they're going to have a tough matchup here for themselves, and right after Shed is another like favorite in the tournament. So we're getting word that the matchup should be starting in just a few seconds from now.
Yeah, I'm hyped for this.
Yeah, definitely.
I am really excited to see these two put on a race for us.
So I guess there we are. That is an awesome transition. It never gets old.
It really doesn't.
And looks like they just started. Alright, so now to start off, you know, it's the same old, like we all know, they're gonna run down, just grab sign, and have that slow early game, but I don't expect there to be much of a like difference or gap between them anytime soon, but we never know what could happen.
Yeah, and Glades especially this early on, the little, you know, seconds here and there, yeah, they add up when you're going for a PB, but when you're in a race situation like this, those seconds are really almost inconsequential compared to some of the time saves and losses that will probably come up later in the round. As long as somebody doesn't take a costly death, I don't expect to see a lot of differentiation here.
There's a lot of places where a run could happen. A lot of dangerous areas or very bigger differences in deaths could happen compared to like what could happen in this like early game. Either way, now they're grabbing sign. They're gonna have to fight the Frankies and then move on to double jump tree. As we saw in the like miscellaneous info, Monkley doesn't use a G502, so let's see if he do this fight.
It looks like he still is managing to mash out those Spirit Flame shots nice and quickly, though.
I'm pretty sure he still scroll yield. It was just like, you gotta throw in the memes, you know? Alright. Either way, they both had a clean fight, and Monkley taking a little bit of damage there, and that should be alright unless he forgets about it. And then that could actually cost him.
Yeah, of course, our runners here are taking some intentional damage to set up a death coming up here, an intentional death at this ghost door. We're going to pick up a couple of these keystones, which you can see Hitachi, after he pulls this rock, will run over and pick up the first of. Put 2 of those into the first type of door we're going to encounter, drop a save, and then take a death. And that'll let us skip over that animation of the door opening, saving us several seconds.
Yeah, it saved like in one door alone, it actually saved multiple seconds, and then we are gonna do about like 4 or 5. This is a number off the top of my head, do not be taken for it, but we're gonna do multiple across the run, and they do add up for a good amount of time.
Yeah, and here we're gonna see our first little bit of divergence between our 2 runners. Hitachi continuing off to the left, Monkley making a slight detour to pick up this health cell. This is gonna give him 4 health through the mid-game and early game, which will give him a fair bit of safety in most regions of the game. Really only Sorrow Pass later on will be someplace that he can get one shot. Hitachi staying at 3 for most of the run will have a little bit dicier trip through Misty Woods if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, for Hitachi in many areas he will get 1 hit while Monkley can take a shot, but we should also mention that at the end, Hitachi will have to get an extra cell more than Monkley, so it's not like he will stay at a lower health for the entirety of the run. He will have to get 5 total, and so does Monkley.
Yeah, and here we just saw Monkley take a timed level up on the way down to the wall jump tree to destroy those brambles and kill that slime. Hitachi's set up his XP to take a level up on the way back. There's not really a huge difference between those, but those timed level ups are routed in, and that one does save a couple of seconds, so we might as well take it.
Yeah, exactly. And the only real small difference is the fact that Hitachi will be able to grab this XP as he goes up, while Monkley doesn't. But it depends on what route they're doing. If they're doing Genocide, which I don't think either of them are, if I'm not mistaken, it does actually make a difference. But if I'm not mistaken, they're both not doing Genocide, so it really doesn't matter where they leveled up.
Yeah, Hitachi getting a lot of that XP. He might find himself a little bit high when he gets into Blackroot, which might make for some interesting on-the-fly route.
But if I believe correctly, Hitachi will be doing Magnetless, which being closer to level for him will make his Frankie Walk later on way safer, but we'll get into that when we get there.
Yeah, of course, Hitachi's coming up on back into this area that we saw very early on. He's going to do a trick here called a Save Anywhere. He's going to do a couple of simultaneous inputs on this ability menu, allowing Ori to move behind it. So, and looks like he's pretty happy to be 27 away from that level up as he takes Quick Flame. When he levels up that skill, it'll save. He saved after a cutscene started, allowing him to skip that cutscene entirely. So Monkley's going to do the same thing, and let's see how Hitachi handles this first part of Blackroot.
Yeah, Blackroot can be very tough because we're still kind of low on health, and this whole time Hitachi is on a platform cycle. So he cannot really flub up movement. He needs to be kind of as fast as possible to catch that cycle. And each cycle is 8 seconds, so a little bit of spaghetti movement might end up snowballing to a bigger time loss.
Yeah, getting that tricky jump up to this 100 XP orb for that first level that he'll take here in Blackroot. A little bit of a high five from our runners. And Hitachi heading across this sea of spikes and lantern.
Yeah, that whole area is dangerous. Oh god. Okay. He was actually at 1 health. He dropped the save though. Meanwhile, as Hitachi's making his way through the lasers, Monkley having a little bit of trouble with that tricky jump. As we mentioned, it is actually pretty harder than it looks like, but he is up there now.
Yeah, Hitachi looks like he was a little bit frustrated about missing his platform cycle, but
he actually had a slow orb drop, when he jumped to the 100 EXP orb. through the 100 EXP orb, but the actual like Black Red orb took way too long to drop that he just couldn't have made that cycle.
Yeah, that's always heartbreaking.
Yeah. Especially for Hitachi, he goes for an extremely tight cycle that we only recently knew is actually possible. We always thought it was like a cycle that we cannot manage to get, but with extremely precise movement all throughout Black Root, he could have got it, but he barely missed it.
Yeah, and speaking of barely missing, he almost missed that platform manipulation on the dash room. Thankfully, he did manage to get it, so
it's only
not losing
frames,
time.
Right? It's all planned. It's like, what, a few frames faster?
It is a few frames faster. If he'd gone for a few frames more faster, he might not have gotten any of them.
Also, we have like a big meme that like Hitachi is the frame master. Like he like times everything down to the frame, so he's probably like calculating it. Like, all right, so I need to be like 5 frames early or whatever.
Yeah, now Hitachi doing something a little bit different than what you'll see a lot of our runners doing here. He's actually decided to skip this cutscene a little bit earlier, allowing him to stack several cutscenes on top of each other. This means he'll be able to do some blind movement while the dash tree's animation is progressing.
Right.
Off
But
to
if
the
I am
left.
not mistaken, if he messes up that blind movement, I heard that the game could save, auto-save at the very bottom, and then he's gonna lose a lot of time. So let's see if he does the movement correctly. He is good. Perfect.
It looks like he did not suffer the horrible fate that one of our other runners suffered earlier today.
Yeah,
thankfully.
I don't know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, Monkley is doing the traditional cutscene skip where he doesn't stack the animations and just stack, I mean, the tree. And that's like, I believe 2 seconds slower than what Hitachi did. Either way, Hitachi is now doing his Frankie walk. This is going to be a very important part of the run for him.
Yeah, he's setting up for a second time level up here. This is going to let him open up this 4 energy door, second type of door that we encounter in the run, even though he's only on 2 energy, using that energy refill from the level up. Okay, it's open, and he's into the Death Gauntlet. So he's only got 3 health. He takes 2 damage in the water. He can't take any more damage. So let's see how he manages to work through this.
Almost there to save it. So you can see that energy. He could save again.
Yeah,
right,
drops his save, and he's through.
And then Monkley is almost over at to the door to see if he could get his Frankie walk correctly as well as the Death Gauntlet. Meanwhile, on the left side, Hitachi will be going for what we call the early grotto cycle. He's going to be delaying his movement a little bit and
getting a little bit trolled by that energy crystal.
The plan there was to like get a little ramp of the energy crystal to like barely make it into the crushers, but he walked into it and it just blocked him, and it is an 8-second cycle that he just lost. Still not the biggest of deals.
It isn't a big deal, but it could give Monkley some room to catch up. Hitachi is watching, or Hitachi's not watching his opponent, so he doesn't know where Monkley is. Monkley, however, did say that he would have the restream up, so we'll have some idea of where Hitachi is throughout this race. And if he gets this, knowing that his opponent didn't, that'll give him a little bit of joy, I'm sure.
Monkley does get it, so he does save 8 seconds over Hitachi. Meanwhile, Hitachi is doing a blind movement after he used another save N-word to skip the tree animation, and he makes it very decently up that wall all during the tree animation.
Yeah, our runner's doing another little bit of a high five here as Monkley goes for his ghost door, and Hitachi leaves the double jump area. Ooh, Monkley with a little bit of a death, only a handful of seconds, thankfully.
Yeah, it's not the worst death, it's just a frustrating one, because like you always feel like so cool doing that weave, and then you just hit the spikes.
Yeah, Hitachi nailing that precise precise wall jump to skip the left side of Grotto. So Monkley will have to answer that with a first try Grotto skip of his own.
Meanwhile, Hitachi is doing really good work in climbing the Grotto walls. This area is not as easy as he makes it seem, and he's doing it almost flawlessly.
Yeah, these walls aren't like walls in a lot of games. They're actually modeled the way that they look, so it's very easy to fall off of them without really noticing it and wind up just kind of losing your jump. Now here goes Monkley for his Grotto skip. He had a little bit of a weird angle that first one, gets it second try.
Yeah, it was a fast
so
second try.
Not too much time loss.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying about the walls being modeled exactly how they look like, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, the reason this skip is possible is because the wall is designed that way, and then there's like a very small lip where it's a flat wall where we can wall jump off of.
Very true, very true. Now, Hitachi's going to be trying to catch a cycle on some spike arm spinner things. We'll see if he manages to get in before it. He does. Excellent.
There's another part of the trick where he needs to like he needs to like cancel his dash fast enough before he just like dashes right into the crusher. Hitachi does it perfectly. And also, back there we didn't mention it, but Hitachi skipped the ability cell on top of the tree, which Monkley will be getting. That is because of the small route difference we talked about between Terra Break and Crazy Juggle.
Yeah, the payoff for Monkley for grabbing that is that he won't have to do a Crazy Juggle, which is a very precise trick, and instead can do the simpler Terra Break.
Yeah.
But again, that'll come up much later in the run when we're in Sorrow Path.
Meanwhile, Monkley's just trailing back the route that Hitachi just took, except for now, and Hitachi is making good work out of the early parts of what's it called? Ginso Tree? Yeah, that. He tried to go for a fast.
Oh no, taking a fall.
He got a ramp that made him go a little bit too high through the portal, and it just like killed his momentum. But at least he didn't fall all the way to the bottom. That could have been way
excellent
worse.
recovery there.
That was really good. Alright, now Monkley is reaching towards the Ginso tree where Hitachi just took a decently big death over at the teleporter room. And
yeah, it looks like he when he reloaded he got dropped down a ways, so he had to take a reload even to get Ori and the camera lined up correctly. So
but at least
a little bit of time loss. Good opportunity for Monkley to catch up.
Yeah, that definitely gave Monkley a very good extra hope in catching up very soon. Another one of those deaths, if they happen, and Hitachi will be probably behind, but he seems to be alright. Alright, so this is like basically like the biggest autoscorer in the game. You just have to wait for that spitter to shoot twice to break the little walls for you.
Yeah, now Hitachi, as soon as that wall gets broken, will be heading into his first Ginso mini-boss. He's looking for a 3-cycle with that quick flame. We'll see if he gets it. There was 1, 2 cycles. Can he get the 3?
No, he barely.
Oh, just barely. Very fast 4 cycle though.
Yeah, that was still a very good. Meanwhile, Monkley actually, since he got Magnet, I believe he will have a hopefully like a perfect mini boss would be 4 cycles, while the like average one would be 5 cycles. So that's another place where Hitachi will save time over Monkley.
Yeah, Monkley missing 1 shot there on the 2nd cycle, unfortunately, so he will be looking for a 5 cycle now.
You cannot manage to miss a single shot, if I'm not mistaken, in order for you to be able to 4 cycle.
Oh no, even a 6 cycle. That's very unfortunate. And the troll's gone.
Right. Well, he does have the mini boss killed now, and
oh no! Monkley has to redo the mini boss.
What happened there is Monkley wanted to lower his health down to 2 health and then save, and then the save will take him over to 3 health, and that will set up his HP very nicely for the Ghost Door coming up, but he accidentally took 2 damage from the spikes. Or 2 damage twice, which actually ended up killing him.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaking death to take, especially right after killing the mini-boss, and you have to kill it over again. Meanwhile, Hitachihex placed a very precisely located save. He's going to do some key duplication here, and then make his way out of the Ginso tree.
So Hitachi successfully did the key dupe, and now he just has to make it out.
Yeah, this will let him leave the Ginso tree with 3 extra keys, which is important because we aren't going to clean the water, and the next door that we need to open, the keys that the game wants us to get for those are under that poisoned water. So it's kind of a deal breaker, but thankfully we can duplicate these keys. We can work our way through swamp, or into swamp by another route, and then get over to the stomp tree, which is where Hitachi will be heading now.
So now he's going to teleport back to the Moon Grotto teleporter that he grabbed way earlier. Oh, Monkley, but he's good. So yeah, he's going to be teleporting over to Moon Grotto and then taking a different route over to Swamp and doing a slightly difficult trick by manipulating a Frost Shots to be able to break into Swamp in an unintended way.
Yeah, and this is going to save about 40 seconds over cleaning the water by doing the Ginso Tree escape. The downside of that, of course, is that the water stays poisonous, and there is a swim that we must do in the final escape that will require at least 4 damage, so our runners will need 5 health or more by the time they get to that final escape.
And that's where we mentioned that Hitachi will have to get more HP, even though he's lower than Monkley. It's just because of the final escape, Dirty Water. Well,
Yeah,
Hitachi had a little bit of trouble with Swamp Entry, but he does get it correct.
Yeah, just a drop double bash, pretty quick retry thanks to the frog still being there. So he's on his way toward the Swamp Tree now, going for a hyper speed.
This one like saves, I believe, like about half a second instead of just waiting for the door to actually open up. He's gonna do a chain of double dashes. He needs to do 4 because he took damage earlier, and he does it very well, and he's over to the Stomp Tree safely.
Yeah, I really like that double bash chain personally. It just looks so amazingly fun.
It's amazing if you drop the double bash, and then it's kind of sad. But yeah, it's definitely a fun strat.
And now Monkley coming up here. Will he be... Yeah, he'll be doing a slightly different cutscene skip here. This will despawn those lasers that Hitachi will have to deal with. So when Monkley comes back through this area, those instant kill lasers will not be waiting for him to give him a hefty dose of time loss. Let's see how Monkley does on his Swamp Entry.
They're both playing with a Frog Ball Drinker right now. Hitachi uses him to get the cell up top, and then Monkley is going to try to double bash the shot upwards, and he's in.
Yeah, very nice Swamp Entry by Monkley. Hitachi getting past those lasers, no problem. Setting up for his Kuro cutscene skip.
Oh, big owl on his screen. And he's
looks like he's just going to eat the time.
Yeah, if he reloads and gets the second try, I believe it still saves like 4 or 5 seconds over watching the cutscene, but he's probably just playing it safe and not risking missing it a second time.
Yeah, it's definitely a decision that is very understandable in a race condition.
Going for the double bash. For a second, I thought Hitachi was going to a weird like double bash chain, weird cutscene skip that we do here instead of that, but he only did 1 double bash. Slightly the same decision.
Yeah, he might have been thinking about his health being a little bit lower and not wanting to use the right wall there. I'm not sure.
I believe this is still slightly faster, but then there is a way riskier strat, but actually even faster than this one. But he obviously didn't opt to go for it because it's not everyone goes for it. By that I mean very few people.
Yeah, Monkley doing that second frog manipulation to get that ability cell. He doesn't have lasers to worry about, so he can just run on through there and set up for his own Kuro cutscene skip as Hitachi heads into the Valley of the Wind area.
Maybe a potential place for him to save about 17 seconds more than Hitachi, but he gets the owl as well. They both watch the cutscene, so they break even at that.
Well, all the conspiracy theorists who have been suspecting we've been lying about these cutscenes can now rest easy, knowing that they do exist.
What if they think this is all a trick by us, by like adding these cutscenes to trick them to make them believe? Okay. Meanwhile, Hitachi is doing very good work in Valley so far, while Monkley is almost in the Charge Flame Tree.
Yeah, Hitachi doing a stomp on the bird here to break open that wall. That's kind of an interesting interaction of the way the world of Ori and the Blind Forest works. But he's headed up now to get for his fast stompless trick. He's going to bash a shot from the spider at a precise angle, move away to the right as quickly as he can.
Oh god!
Oh no,
he
takes
back
a
all the
death.
way to teleporter. Monkley is not far behind anymore. It's like maybe a handful of seconds behind. That was, I believe, like a 1-minute death or more by Hitachi.
Yeah, that was a huge death. Very unfortunate for Hitachi.
That is, I believe, the worst death you could take in the run, because all throughout Valley, you're trying to not use any energy, because if you use any energy, you're gonna have to save at the teleporter in Valley, and that will cost you a good amount of seconds. So this is one of the dangerous areas where people opt to never save, and Hitachi paid the price for it.
Yeah, and especially once we get into the part of the run where we have Charge Dash, we have access to Charge Dash, Hitachi and Monkley will both be looking to not save very much at all, just to have that energy to go fast instead of taking the safe route.
Let's see if Hitachi opts to do an actual save on top this time. I believe he's not gonna. Right, second attempt. Shot looked slightly high, but maybe it's. I believe it's still good enough.
It's impossible to call those as a commentator. I've learned he gets it. Very nice.
Perfect. Hitachi obviously knows better than we do, so gets the trick, and then Monkley is gonna be approaching there right now.
Yeah, let's see if Monkley can pick up some more time here by getting that fast stompless first shot.
Right, shot hit the ceiling, but he did see it in time, so he's gonna try to aim it again.
That one hit the ceiling as well, but again, he was paying attention and watching for that. So
his angles are slightly high. This one is. I'm not gonna try to say anything.
It might have been a little bit low.
I want to say it's slow, but then what do I know? Yeah, exactly. What do I know?
Looks just fine.
Doing Sarabash very well. It gets through in the first try.
Yeah, that Sarabash saves us doing Misty Woods sooner than we'd like, as well as going to the Forlorn Ruins to restore the element of wind.
Earlier,
the game does not expect us to be here at all. Yeah, and meanwhile...
So what he's doing there is basically juggling the frog up and then charge dashing towards him, and then canceling the charge dash with a stomp right before he hits the frog, so he doesn't take the charge dash damage, and he does it perfectly. Every one of those juggles is about, you have 3 frames to do it, and he has to do it about 15 times. It's an extremely difficult trick, but Hitachi does it very well. Well, Monkley doing a bunch of double bashes and such for his Sarabash, and he's already in there.
Yeah, and we're going to have what appears to be a little bit of a sync with our runners here, both going to charge jump tree at about the same time, it looks like. Monkley will still be quite a bit behind. He still has to go up and get the Sunstone that Hitachi already has, but he needs the charge jump skill in order to do his Terror Break to get up to it. So it looks like he's ahead right now, but he isn't quite.
I believe that he is ahead because Monkley is going to pull that legendary Sunstone skill. This is a complete meme. He is not going to actually do it if you... Alright. So now he's going to carry up a long essay all through the Dorito caves again, so he can do the Terra Break. It's just a small optimization rather than saving again and setting up another save anywhere when you're all across that area.
Yeah, they're almost synced up as they come through here. Of course, Hitachi leaving through the bottom while Monkley heads up to go get that Sunstone. Hitachi not even touching the ground through there. Very nicely done.
I'm kind of sad. Hitachi like feathered Sarabash, traverse Sarabash. Alright. So Monkley actually also kept his save anywhere open to skip this cutscene. So it's like a 2 birds in 1 stone kind of thing where it just keeps the save anywhere open for a really long time. Just to like optimize it a little bit more and save himself some energy of saving again.
Would you say that it's like 2 birds and 1 sunstone?
2 Kuros, 1 sunstone, yeah. Wait, would it
that
be
was
like
that was terrible. I promise to never make that joke again.
Would it be Kuro or would it be like just the small like birds that like always kill us?
It would probably be the small birds, I guess. If you're gonna ask me to continue this, it'd be the small birds because, of course, if we didn't have our UI off, Sign would tell us that Kuro doesn't go up where the Sunstone is because she fears its light.
Wait, does she say that? You probably know better than me because of that like category that you made up. Either way, while we're making bad jokes and such, Hitachi did very, very clean work of the first half of Mist Games already at the climb tree. All while we're talking about birds and Sunstone.
Yeah, Misty Woods is a great place to see some good high-level movement out of both of these Ori runners. They're going to be using charge dashes, stomps, and bashes, as well as normal dashes, to rocket their way through this area. Oh my goodness, Hitachi charge dashing through that laser.
That was so clean, I did not even expect it. So what he did there is when you charge dash, there's like very like certain pixels where you can actually charge through the laser without dying. And it's extremely, extremely precise, and he did it perfectly. The madman. Meanwhile, Monkley, okay, he had a safety save, but he just... It was still like a kind of a big death from Monkley when he died to the spikes over at the end of the question mark spikes, but he did have a safety save at least and didn't go all the way back to Sunstone.
Yeah, that would have been a very unfortunate time loss. Up here on the left, Hitachi's going to come in here, and I swear to you, there's a mini-boss here in this room. It might not look like it, but there was. Executing a very nice clean kill on that mini-boss, and then he'll be heading his way out of Misty Woods to go get the last skill of the game, Light Grenade.
Meanwhile, Monkley did get through the Misty very safely in his second try, and he's already at the Pine Tree. I love those like synced stomp cancels. Like they're both stomp canceling to the right at the same time.
Yeah, it looked really pretty.
Meanwhile, Hitachi's gonna teleport back to like Blackroot, where we were at the very beginning, just to grab the last what's it called, skill grenade, so he can finish up the game.
Of course, Blackroot not quite as scary the second time around. We've got a lot more skills, no more health than we did the last time, but and the lights are also on, so you can actually see where all the hazards are, and it's a little bit more pleasant experience.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Monkley just took like a very scary like damage boost, let's call it, and then he was at 1 health getting 2 spikes in a very scary fashion, but he did make it out safely.
Yeah, thankfully that extra health that he picked up in Sunken Glades right at the beginning of the run, saving him there from taking a death. All these spikes in Misty Woods do 3 damage, so that 4th health, keeping him alive.
Meanwhile, Hitachi just got grenades and doing grenade jumps. He is the person that actually discovered grenade jumps, and he is here to like showcase all the cool ones, hopefully. Doing just some rocket jumps to get out of Blackroot to get to the teleporter, and then he's just gonna teleport back to Thornfeld Swamp, and then he's gonna make his way over to finish off the game.
Yeah, picking up that health cell, that's his 4th. He'll pick up 1 more on the way to Mount Horu to be at 5 health, which is just enough to survive that poison swim in the final escape. We'll see if he decides to show us any cool grenade jumps. Yeah, it looks like he's going to show us.
That's my favorite one.
I love that grenade jump. Yeah. Really, all of these horror approach grenade jumps are great, as Monkley.
You know, yeah. There he just got his 5th health cell, and he is over to almost the Sunstone, and then Monkley is very close to grenade.
Yeah, Hitachi dropping a save there at the 5th health, showing us another excellent grenade jump, sticking the landing.
His angles on these
it looks like he's going to be going for the warmth skip after this door warp.
Yeah, I believe so. Hitachi will probably be going to warmth skip, especially if he's not watching the restream. He doesn't really know that he's way ahead, so probably go for all the fastest strats he knows. But door warp, he didn't get it first try.
Yeah, this is a frame-perfect input. He needs to press up to go through the door on the first frame that the game loads, and that will sort of confuse the game. It hasn't loaded in where it's supposed to put you yet, so it puts you in a predetermined location in the dungeon. And for Mount Horu, that happens to be right there at the end of the dungeon.
It took him about 5 tries, but well, he's probably not happy with that, but it didn't give Monkley enough time to catch up just yet. So Hitachi here is doing what we call the warmth skip. He gets some blind movement here to skip that cutscene of warmth return coming back, but he has to do a series of very dangerous blind movement, but he does it perfectly.
Yeah, and also he doesn't get a refill on his energy, so the 3 that he made it to Horu with are all he has to work through this final escape with. And each of those attempts at the grenade jump at the end will cost him a half an energy if he misses.
This flame is very precise. He has exactly enough health to make it through, but he is safely through it. His last obstacle is the final grenade jump. Gonna line it up, and if he gets the angle and position correctly, and which he does, that will skip half of the final cutscene and save him like 40 seconds.
Yep,
So this is
GG
basically
Hitachi.
GG for G.
Meanwhile, Monkley, just now making it to Horu, putting in that sunstone. He didn't skip it. We were joking.
Yeah.
And getting ready for his door warp attempts.
That's Terra's job. Either way, Hitachi just has to do a little bit of movement with Naru before we could call time on his run. Monkley, let's see if he could beat Hitachi in that sense, and he did. He got a first try door warp. Very good job.
Yeah, now Monkley's going to show us those first two rooms that we didn't get to see because Hitachi did them blind.
And Hitachi finished with a time of 30, 57, 47 from what it seems like.
Yeah, that's an excellent time in this tournament, so he's probably going to be pretty pleased with the results of that. Monkley charge dashing. Wow, so many charge dashes across those first two rooms.
But he does it very cleanly as well. That saves him a little bit of time actually, but it's a very dangerous trick.
Yeah, now he's looking to
that swim.
Yeah, he's delaying just a little bit in this area to make sure that those fish have time to swim into the right position so that he can use them to get out of that water with health left over, and he does. Doesn't spawn Kuro, charge jumping up the wall, and he'll be setting up for his final grenade jump as well here.
Perfectly done. GG to Monkley. He's going to be finishing up with a time of like 31 something. 32, 30 or so.
Yeah, excellent runs from both of our runners here tonight.
Yeah. Given the differential in their PBs, that was actually a very close race. Like, yeah, it was like a minute difference, which, given Hitachi is one of the greatest runners in the game, that was a very good competition from Monkley on his side.
It looks like you may have been wrong about that time there. It looks like Hitachi finished with a 0.0. Is that a world record?
I thought you were talking about like Monkley's prediction when I said 30 something. Let's say no, that's correct. But yeah, Hitachi getting that world record. $32.35 for Monkley. GG's to both of them. I'm gonna check if the runners would want to come in for an interview real quick if possible, and we'll be back for it.
Yeah, it looks like both of our runners are going to be joining us for an interview here. We're just going to wait for them to get into the call with us. Hitachi and Monkley, GG. Hitachi, congratulations on your win. How you feel?
Hello.
Hello.
Upset. The time that I got, I'm upset.
I mean, at the end, you still
I feel
want
like I'm happy that I got the win, but I don't like the time that I got. That's just.
I mean, you still have other runs to improve on, so GG on that win. And I guess, Monkley, how do you feel about that match overall?
Good. It was probably my best race so far. Given the limited amount of practice I put into it, I'm satisfied with 32. I wasn't looking to go too far, and I don't think I could have beat a 30-57 last year. So,
you still put a really good show and very good job.
Hello.
Good job.
Why can't I? Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Looks like we lost one of our interviews. I guess just to like ask a question to Monkley while Hitachi gets his problems fixed with whatever tech issues he's having. So Monkley, now you're out of the tournament. Do you have any plans of playing more Ori, or are you going back to like Dust Force, or what are your plans?
So we got the whole ACNR thing coming up. So I'm gonna make an attempt to learn that, but I don't know if I'll really have the time. So we're gonna try to learn ACNR, and if not, I'll probably just grind some more Dust 4 sales.
Sounds fun. Hoping to really see you in the tournament would be very fun.
For our viewers, we will be holding another tournament after the All Skills tournament concludes. That'll be in our All Styles with no restrictions category. Is the ACNR that Monkley is talking about.
I believe that will be the first tournament that we hold that will feature out of bounds.
It looks like, unfortunately, we might not be getting Hitachi back. No? He's coming back, maybe?
Apparently, he had to restart Discord. We apologize about the technical issues, but we should have him here in just a second.
Okay.
Hello?
Hitachi, can you hear us?
Yeah. My Discord like randomly muted itself for some reason. I was trying to diagnose that. Sorry.
Alright.
No worries. Congratulations on your win.
Thanks. Thank you.
Right, so I guess to ask you a question is, I believe in your next matchup you'll be fighting against Shed in a best of 3. How do you feel about that one?
I think Ched's a pretty good runner. He earlier I watched his race earlier. He was 20 seconds ahead of his PB. So his early game wasn't that great in his PB. So I think it's gonna be a pretty good race. If he was about to get a low 29 right there in a tournament setting.
Yeah. So even with that saying he's a great runner, but your PB is still like measurably better than his. Do you feel like you have a good chance in that race, or do you think it's gonna be like a scary close fight?
I mean, with Ori, it's so easy to lose time, especially with how I play. I'm sure Shed might take some safety precautions, but I don't like taking safety, so I think regardless if I did or not, yeah, I think it's actually going to be a pretty close race.
Yeah. So speaking of safety, I want to ask you about a couple of things in this run. First off, when you weren't watching the restream, if I'm not mistaken, what did you feel when you had that very rough death in trying to do fast stomp lists? Or were you trying to forget about it and I just brought it back into your memory?
No, it was I wasn't watching the restream, but I wasn't super worried because, well, maybe a little, because the Genso death, like, as well, stacked up and the reload and then going back up to Genso, but I wasn't super worried. I was pretty sure I could catch up at some point if I was behind.
Yeah, and then secondly, about not taking safety, that charge dash through the laser room in Misty, is that something you usually do, or is that something you just decided to bust out for us here on the tournament?
No, that's something I wanted to do for the tournament. LO said he was going to start doing it as well for the tourney, and I figured, why not? It'd be a fun thing to do.
Like, have you put a lot of practice into it, or did you just kind of like YOLO charge dash and it worked?
That spot you can do that C dash from to the laser is actually really consistent. I wasn't worried about dying to it. It's more about the position, so you can waste time trying to set it up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna probably have to ask you about it to learn that setup sometime. But all right. So, Hal, do you still have any more questions for the runners?
No, I don't think so. Thank you very much for joining us, Hitachi and Monkley. Hitachi, good luck in your race against Shed. Monkley, thank you for running with us, and good luck in your future Ori runnings.
It's always a pleasure.
Same.
For now, I think we will be done. I believe our next race will be at 2 a.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be in about like 3 hours from now. That will be a match between. Check real quick. Not prepared enough. Between She's Lover and Trite Knight.
Yeah, that's another pair of our very closely seeded competitors. So that should be another good race to watch.
For now, we're gonna log out, and we'll see you guys very soon.
Yep. Thank you to Lurking for commentating with me. Thank you, Meldon, for restreaming for us and doing those excellent replays. Nightfighter and Rufus did our wonderful truck and tracking, keeping all of the information flowing to us when we needed it. And thank you, of course, to Speed Gaming for letting us run our tournament on their channel. Good night.
Good night.